Hello, my friends. Welcome to another edition of Ed Talks. Today, I have with me Miss Bethany recording so that you get to see my face. Isn't that awesome? Anyways, this week we'll be talking about Jane Goodall. And obviously, this is a picture from her from 1960s, so a bit before you or I were ever even born. Jane was born in London, England in 1934, and she started doing her chimpanzee and great ape work, as it's known, in 1960. You can see her here with a little chimpanzee guy. Okay. Before we get to that, I have with me a book called Animalized by Virginia Maurel. No pictures in it, unfortunately. So, yeah. But it talks about animal behavior. Specifically in this part, it talks about chimpanzees and the kind of things that Miss Goodall was doing in her work. I'm going to read just a little bit, and we'll understand a bit more about what Jane was doing. Jane Goodall wanted to understand what life is like for chimpanzees in their natural world, and at least to herself in the beginning, she described them emotions and intelligence to make many decisions. She did not realize how revolutionary her approach was until she submitted her first scientific papers. Goodall kept at it, letting her discoveries speak for themselves, and, with each one, chipped away at the prevailing notion that humans alone are capable of thought. One of Goodall's greatest breakthroughs occurred only 4 months after she arrived in Gombe, which is where she was studying originally. When she watched her favorite chimpanzee, one called David Greybeard, carefully push a long grass stem into a hole in a termite nest, it was obvious that he was actually using a grass stem as a tool. To verify what David was doing, Goodall imitated his actions. After David left, she poked one of his discarded stems into the nest, pulled it out, and found a big cluster of termites clinging to its end. Later, Goodall would see the chimps modifying, that means playing with, making them better, different, modifying twigs and stems, stripping away the leaves to make proper termite or ant retrieving tools. She's quoted as saying, "The first recorded example of a wild animal not merely using an object as a tool, but actually changing the object and thus showing the beginnings of tool making." Goodall's discovery thrilled Louis Leakey, who was the person who sponsored all her work, who announced her work at a press conference in 1964. As Goodall recognized, chimpanzees have distinct personalities that affect their success in life. They create cultures. They have wars and are socially astute. They grieve for their dead, plot coup against their leaders, act kindly towards chimpanzees that are sick, and display some aspects of theory. That means they could think about things. In short, they, quote, manifest intelligent behavior of the general kind, familiar in human beings. So, from the book, we can understand that Jane Goodall's most precious work revolved around determining that chimpanzees and these great apes had the thinking capacities of other human beings. And actually, if you friends have any pets, like dogs or cats, or anything like that, you might notice sometimes, especially if you have a dog or a cat, that they wag their tail when they get happy, or they cry when they get sad. It's kind of the same thing. She was saying that animals have feelings, and I mean, I have my dog, my little pupper over there, beautiful. Right now he's pretty happy playing with his toys.
Come.
But the point is, all these animals think and feel, and they know what's going on. Like Khan here knows his name is ears are still perked up and he's ready for exciting things, but fortunately nothing's happening. So take a minute to watch the video. I'm going to send the PowerPoint to Miss Amanda, and she will share with you the PowerPoint. So parents, caregivers, you can click on the link. Take a minute to watch the video because I have a few awesome words that we can discover afterwards. Okay, welcome back. Well, it was a short video, but I wanted to talk about two of the really big words that you probably saw in big white text on the video. The first one was revolution. Now, for my kindergartners, we know about the Revolutionary War, right? You know, all the fighting, all the craziness, but the idea behind the revolution was pretty much the Americans wanted to be free from the British people, right? They wanted, well, what's the root of, let's take a look at that though. What it really means, what did you come up with? Have a little thought. I would, with your parents, whoever's with there, just give it a little thought. Like, what does that mean for revolution? Well, for me, what it means is the change you want to see in the world, and for what that meant for Jane is the change she wanted to see in the world in regard to animals. She wanted people to understand that animals think and feel and behave in the same way that people do. And then there was another word. The word hero came up towards the end. So a lot of you probably think of like Spider-Man and Superman and Batman and all that kind of stuff. They fight crime, or heroes like soldiers, or heroes like doctors, or things like this. They fight disease. They do all that kind of stuff. But Jane didn't do any of that kind of stuff, right? So in her own way, how was Jane Goodall a hero? So again, you can take a time, you can rewatch the video. It's only like 3 minutes. Kind of think about what hero means to you. For me, I said a hero is someone that stands up for something they believe in. They fight for the right reasons. And for example, in the video we saw those guys cutting down the forest and doing all this type of thing. If you remember, did Jane let them cut down the trees, or did she educate the people of the village and kind of talk to them like, hey, this is destroying the homes? She educated them, right? So in her own way, she was like a hero to those people. Like, she was educating them and all this type of thing. And now one of the things she pointed out was not to think globally and then locally, but to think purely locally. So to be a hero in the local sense, like, what can we do? Well, what I've said here, you can check in on mommies and daddies